Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. And today, we're going to be having our Tube Talk episode, where we talk about the latest in TV shows that have come out in this past week, and some new stuff that we've had a chance to check out as well. But yeah, I'm here with Mr. Joel Cunningham.
I'm a mister now.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, Sir Matt. Hey.
Sir, I've been knighted.
We're going to upgrade each other there.
You've never a mister before?
No, I normally don't get mister.
Mister, okay. Well,
I like it, but it's not me.
Then just
Mister.
J Money.
I will say this, we're getting way off track here, but in school, the teachers always called me Mr. Cunningham. That was what they always did.
Mister, like that?
They always went, Mr. Cunningham. I don't know
Weird.
why. Yeah, it was like
weird.
they all met up one day and said, let's just call him that.
People are always like, hey, Matt, hey. Get it? I'm like, dude.
I think I've done that. I'm sorry.
No, and I'm telling you, everybody does it the first time, and then they quickly realize that it's been done to you your whole life.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. That's not a new joke.
I'm sorry for ever doing that.
It's okay. I forgive everybody listening that's done that to me.
Very cool. Yeah.
It's all good. So let's go ahead and dive right in, because we're going to be catching up on a couple of our shows that we've been talking about recently, but also dive into a new one as well.
Yes. One we just started watching.
We just started watching.
Yet. Yeah.
We're about halfway through.
And it stinks. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't say that.
I'm kidding.
So let's start off with The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Penultimate episode came out last night.
Yes. Which means the one before the last.
Right, exactly.
For our listeners.
The second to last episode of this season.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts for me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay. I'm really annoyed. It seems like this show is living from premiere to finale.
Yeah.
And it's putting all of its best stuff in the episodes like that are the premieres and the finales.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's frustrating because it's almost making me feel like, what's the point of all the middle stuff then?
Right.
You know?
You can really just read a plot synopsis or reviews on the episode and then wait until you get to the big ones.
Right. And so what's frustrating about this episode, it's not a bad episode. They progress the story. They progress things in this episode, and I like that about it. But we should have gotten this forever ago, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know? And there was just too much, especially in the half of, and we said it before, of season 7, that was just entirely frustrating that we had to go through. I understand the character stuff, but they took way too much time.
I agree, yeah.
But overall, I liked it. I mean, what were your overall thoughts?
Overall, I really liked it as well. I think, again, this show's been going on for 7 seasons now, and you do start to get the sense of things kind of being played out a little bit. And I think the thing is, I agree with what you're saying there, which is that there's like limitations on the episodes that they should have had content like this so many episodes ago.
Right.
It really, I don't know if it's based upon what, if it's based upon production schedule, if it's based upon budget.
I think it's episode demand, honestly.
Yeah. It's like, it feels like a big chunk of it is that they can only have, in a way, so many characters in episodes, so many locations in certain episodes. Right. And so it's like they basically at the end of the episode, the end of the season, the beginning of the season, they kind of throw those rules out.
Right.
And they go, well, we're just going to do whatever it takes. If we have to go to 15 locations, we're going to go there. But a lot of the other times it's like, well, we're going to have 2 locations. Maybe one of the characters will be stuck in a spot. The other one will be kind of wandering around. And so it feels very forcedly slow.
Right.
It's like there's not a lot happening because you have to force these conflicts and these dramatic conversations that probably could be resolved in like 2 seconds. You know? Right,
exactly. And so here's my thought on that. And this is kind of the way that, and I've said this before, is if they kept The Walking Dead to 10 to 12 episodes and just kept it way tighter, way more succinct, I think it would be a way more effective show.
Agreed, yeah. Well, I think like if you look back at the first season, right? That was how many episodes? 6 episodes, right? And it doesn't have to be that short. I think they could make do with 8.
They did 12 the second season, I think.
But then it felt very stretched, very, like, I mean, ultimately what I would say is that I agree with what you're saying, that I think that if they could keep the budget they have and shorten the episode amount, I would be more excited to see where the plot's going every single episode. Because now it's this game of like, are they going to have an episode where we go somewhere? Are they going to have an episode where we're just kind of waiting till we can get to the next big thing?
Right.
To talk about specifically this episode, though, because I want to get to that, I thought there was good movement forward with a lot of the characters.
Right.
I felt like every decision that they made was fine. I was totally fine in this episode with them doing the thing with Eugene.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they needed a whole episode devoted to him like making the shift.
Right.
I felt like we literally could have had him. They could have arrived there where the Saviors are at, seen Eugene has made the shift, and then have him do the breakdown. That would have been a lot more effective for me. I think the action sequence that they did at Oceanside with Rick and everybody was very realistic.
Which went way faster than I thought was going to happen. Like they...
Yeah. I felt like it was suspenseful. I liked how they had the thing where she's like, I've only got a limited amount of time, because it shows that they're thinking tactics.
Yeah.
And I like that they're kind of, their heads are already in tactics and that they're not just doing this stupid kind of same old stuff that they're doing. And so it makes me excited to see what kind of tactics they're going to implement in the coming battle with the Saviors. And I thought that the resolution to that whole situation was okay. It felt a little silly. It felt very much like, well, I get why maybe some of these people stuck with the Oceanside women.
Right.
But if you want to fight the battle, you can go live in Alexandria with the rest of these people. Like, you're not forced to stay there, you know? I mean, your kids are maybe there, but for the most part, they don't have husbands, they don't have families. I don't know. So I thought that was good. I thought everything with the back and forth that happened, I can't think of everybody's names right now, but I thought pretty much the whole progress for everything was good. Yeah,
no, I did too. And I don't want to mislead from the beginning, because I said it was okay. I like this episode more than what I have seen most this season.
Yeah.
And a couple of things that stood out to me. I liked Sasha's part.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, there's no way she's giving in. She kind of played it up a little bit, and she was trying to trick Eugene. That whole scene, I was like, this is weird. And then they showed her face, and she's got like that crazy look, and she's like throwing out a crying voice, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty, intense. And then Eugene passes that pill, and I was like, oh, that's not what she wanted.
Yeah, I thought that was really clever too.
Yeah.
I kind of knew where they were going with it when they didn't show her face.
Right.
And then I was like, yeah, that's pretty good though. I thought that was pretty clever.
Right. The other thing I really liked was, the zombies at Oceanside were so gross.
Oh, they were really freaky. Yeah,
they're like all
melty.
Like oceany, like they had like creatures living on them and stuff, and like all these like just crazy skin that you haven't seen before, you know? And that was nasty. Anyway, that, and I'm going to make a call right now. I think that what we're going to find is in the finale, we're going to have a couple of the Oceanside girls come and help, kind of against the will of their leader, or Natanya, or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to come and help in some way, shape, or form. And then we had that little twist of sorts at the end with Dwight defecting, which I'm surprised it's taken this long, honestly. Being around Negan, why you would want to be around. I understand that it was his wife leaving that got him to like finally change his mind. And
again, that's something that probably should happen a lot quicker.
Sooner. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do like the reaction that Daryl had when he saw Dwight.
Yeah.
And then I like that Rick wasn't like, let's figure this out right away. He just pulled his gun on him.
He's like, get on your knees.
Get on your knees.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like entirely accommodating, because that dude has burned them before.
Yeah, I mean, how that poses an interesting question, because it's like, how are they going to resolve that?
Yeah.
Because they don't know if they can trust him or not. And I think the cool thing is, you don't know, because Negan has already said that, hey, tomorrow's going to be like a crazy day, and you never know what Negan is planning.
Right.
So maybe he is still one of the bad guys.
Right.
I mean, it would be pretty brave of him to go there and try and convince Rick that he isn't. But
yeah,
I thought it was cool. I thought it was effective. I thought it was good. I wish this had been more like, every episode had been more like this.
Right.
I would consider this like an average good episode.
Right.
So
if they could use this as their baseline, as this is as worse as we can get, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and you had a fair amount of things going on in different locations with different characters, so it was just it created some real interest.
Yeah,
and some real cool, like, hey, where's the finale gonna go? I'm gonna make a call as well and say that I don't think they're gonna do the actual assault. I'm not sure, but I think they'll probably begin formatting the assault, but I don't think that they're actually going to like make the assault and kind of have the resolution to that.
Right.
I think they're going to play that fight out for like the next season.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. And it's funny because this is the nerd in me, but I watched Star Wars Rebels, which just ended its third season, and it kind of on a spoiler side if you watch Rebels, but they had a similar issue happen where they've been planning the whole season, like at least second half of the season, towards this one big battle, and it doesn't really happen. It doesn't work out. So I could see that happening in the show too. I think
they'll fight. I feel like you can't do. I mean, if they don't, people are going to be really ticked off.
We're going to lose.
I think they're going to have
Sasha. I feel like.
You think so?
Yeah, because. Mainly not because of a prediction in the show, but she's on a new show coming out soon. So
I got you.
Yeah.
The spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that would make sense. I think they'll fight. I think something will happen, but I don't think like I said, I don't think we're going to get the conclusion to that. I think they're going to play out Negan's story for a good long while. They haven't built up enough other type elements to the story yet to kind of move into a new plot.
Yeah.
Major chunk of the plot. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, what would you rate it at 1 to 10?
Probably 8.
Okay. Yeah, I go 8.
Yeah.
8 as well. Cool. Well, that takes us to our next show, which is Legion. And let me tell you what, Joel, I like this episode a lot, and I'm finding that I'm really, after season 5, I am really, really into this show. It's like the first half of the season was there to confuse me a little bit, and then the second half is to answer all my questions and have some really cool things happen.
Yeah.
So
I really like this episode too. I feel like it should happen 3 episodes ago.
I know, right?
You know? It's like, hey, I know what's happening with different people. I mean, I don't feel like they needed to keep Benny's character so like the Shadow King, as we are now introduced as.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they needed to keep that.
Farouk?
Yeah, that as secretive as they have. I feel like we could have known that it was a force within the first 3 episodes, or chapters,
right.
The first 3 chapters, but then give the motives and the power and the purpose behind the Shadow King, keep that more secretive and move forward with things. They resolved so many questions.
Yeah.
In so many different places. People got killed off.
Yep.
I mean, the Eye, dead, that was pretty
That was brutal.
Yeah, that was really brutal.
So
Way to go,
brutal.
Poor guy. He definitely deserved some bad stuff, but that was pretty brutal. So I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked the stylization fit with the overall progress of the plot.
You know what? And I don't like a lot of the artistic direction that they've taken this for the most part, but I really enjoyed that black and white silent film.
Yeah, that was the one part I didn't
I like that.
I like too much.
I like that part because it was scary, and I don't know if you could get that same scariness if Aubrey Plaza was actually delivering those same lines.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Obviously, I enjoyed that. I was like, "Ooh, this is ooh."
I would have liked it more if I felt like there was a purpose for it.
Right.
But it really just felt like, hey, let's just do something kind of crazy and go back to like old timey silent film style.
That's been the theme, though. The show. It's they do stuff like that, like your music video last episode.
I hated that too, though.
I didn't like that though,
awful.
either.
Yeah,
I didn't like that either. But I did really like this show, or this episode in particular. We talked about this briefly too, is the exposition blackboard scene.
That was really cool.
Where David was talking with his British self.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And just that, and actually I found David very charming in this episode.
Yeah.
Kind of in his childlikeness a little bit approach to things.
Yeah.
And like at the end when he's wearing that little helmet and he like starts to take it off, he's like, no. Carrie's like, don't take it off.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I got to keep this on.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And
which
then,
is cool because that's kind of his character. You feel like he's almost a guy that's been prevented from growing up in some ways. So he's still got a lot of that innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a prototype too, that little helmet too. There's a little scene at the end where like the little thing creeps in a little bit, and like the Aubrey Plaza's the Shadow King creeps in a little bit, and he sees a little creepy kid from that cartoon book thing.
Yeah, I don't think we know what that is yet still. I don't think we've gotten an answer for who the creepy cartoon big head kid is
I think it's the same as Farouk. I think it's just a Shadow King. He took the form of that the cartoon boy, the angriest boy in the world.
Yeah.
The dog.
Okay.
And the fat man, the scary dude, which is his actual form is what I'm guessing.
I know the fat man. I'll have to go back and look at that again because I wasn't sure if that was a different.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying. That's
persona.
like he's been showing up in those different ways, but
because they haven't really shown that character enough to really get a sense of what its purpose is. The angriest kid in the world. Like you definitely get a sense of Farouk and
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool as well. I don't know if you noticed this, but you got a quick shot of just the wheelchair.
Yes, Charles Xavier's wheelchair.
Just a really brief shot, but it was like enough for me to go, whoa!
It was like straight out of X-Men.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet, like kind of a simple little tie-in. That's all it really needed to be tied into like the whole X-Men universe.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a flashback and you see like the back of some bald dude's head, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surped as well. I don't know if they would do it, but if they recasted, if they brought in a person that looked very similar, but it was an Xavier, type person. I really liked this episode. I think I'm interested now to actually see. It was funny because I felt like this was a fine season ender. Yeah. In a way, and I'm like, how are we gonna take
it makes me really excited for the finale.
It does.
For like action set pieces.
Yeah, because they've set up potentially a huge battle with the forces that kind of attack them at the very end there, but it's like, well, all the other plot lines are kind of been dealt with.
Yeah, they gave them
not completely, but somewhat, enough to finish the season.
Yeah, and they ended it with the kill order.
Yeah,
for that guy gave the kill order to kill everybody.
Yeah,
and then they also ended it with like Farouk starting to break out of that mental prison.
Right.
So, I think stuff is going to go down like in a crazy way, kind of like how it did in my favorite episode so far, where he raids that facility.
Yeah,
and all the dudes are like in the ground and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, you'll see I think you're going to see a lot of explosion, a lot of people getting thrown around.
Yeah,
a lot of bad juju.
I want to see that, but I want to see him play it. I want to see him play it straight too, so it's not like super artistic. I just want to see the straight action for the most part, if they can do that.
That would be nice. I'm looking forward to it though, and I'm excited. So, what would you rate this episode then?
8.5.
Nice. Yeah. I would give it. I'd probably around the same. I'd say I'm probably like an 8.7.
Man, we're totally twinning today almost.
We are, yeah.
It's crazy.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that brings us actually into our next show, which we actually started. We didn't get a chance to finish it, but we do have some thoughts on it, and that's Iron Fist.
We want to intro it. Yeah.
Right.
Iron Fist.
So this is Iron Fist. This is the fourth Netflix standalone, well, not standalone, but fourth Netflix superhero series in addition to Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil.
Yep.
And this is what we're going to get before they launch The Defenders, which I think comes out later this year. I got to double check that.
Sure.
I know we're getting a new Punisher series this year. But
which I think will make a good show.
Oh man, I'm really excited for that. He was my favorite part of the second season of Daredevil. But for Iron Fist, let me just say this right now. This show is getting obliterated critically.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
And
a lot of areas. I mean, it's getting some decent ratings on IMDb, but
when it first
review-wise,
right, when it first showed or aired, I kept seeing this is, Marvel's first bomb. I'm 8 episodes into this thing, and I disagree so much.
Yeah.
I'm actually really liking it. This is giving us something different than we actually haven't had before, and that's, in my opinion, a hero, Danny Rand, or the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
That's not like completely self-destructive or like in some way, shape, or form. Doesn't have a ton. I mean, he has some baggage, but he's like way more. And I think this goes back to him being more childlike.
Right.
He's just got that kind of innocence about him still. I mean, I'm not really ruining anything, but if you're not familiar with Iron Fist, it's a kid and his family crash on a corporate jet, and he is raised in the Himalayas for Kunlun. I can't even say that city, but he's raised there to be, and essentially earns his way up to be the Iron Fist, which is the sworn enemy of the Hand.
Yeah, the Kung Fu master.
Right.
He's got a special power.
Okay.
In the city that only appears once every 15 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I really like it. I like the character. I will say this, and this is, and we've talked about this a little bit already, is the show's a little bit, it's got pacing issues. It can be slow at times.
Absolutely.
But for the most part, I like I just like it. So I don't understand a lot of the hate towards it.
Yeah.
Overall.
Overall, yeah. I mean, like a pacing example, overall, I feel the same. I feel like it's not the best I've seen Marvel do.
Right.
But it's not necessarily any better or worse than any of the other shows. I feel like maybe a little bit less than interesting initially than maybe like a Luke Cage or a Jessica Jones.
Right.
But overall, it's kind of played out the same way in my mind as those shows have gone. It's very similar and beat-wise, and it feels like they stretch things out where they could condense it a little bit. And The characters are interesting enough. They're not like groundbreaking, but he kind of feels like he's like Batman light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's like the rich playboy that's got these superpowers. He trained in some like monastery out in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Comes back. The main difference is he's not like dark and somber.
Right. He's very
isolated.
kind
He's a very
and
kind-hearted
like
guy.
empathetic.
Right, but they play off of that.
Yeah.
They use that in the script. A good example of the pacing issues that I kind of noticed initially was, when I'm going to spoil some of it, but like when he comes back, it takes them a really long time. It takes a really long time for him to convince them, and obviously rightly so, that he's Danny, right? But then he goes to this attorney girl, and he's able within like 30 seconds, at probably more like 10 seconds, to convince her that he's Danny, because she's like, I don't believe you. And she starts walking away, and he's like, wait, I used to play in your office, and I did this, and you did that, and we talked when I was a kid, and you remember that? And immediately she's like, okay, this only Danny could know that.
Yeah.
And it's like frustrating because it's like, why wouldn't you have done that with the other people?
Yeah.
I mean, like, why wouldn't you take them in the office?
Eventually,
right, but like take them in the office and be like, there's stickers that I put under the desk in my dad's office. I will go in and show you. Go with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, he's Kung Fu Master, so he's not like going to get killed by the security guards. So there's just like frustrations there where it's like you could have resolved that probably in less than an episode, but you spent like 4 episodes.
And I understand why too. I mean, he's socially not all the way there. I mean, he grew up some in this crazy weird environment. So he's a little bit like out of it, but he's retained a lot of that childlikeness. So he doesn't have maybe the best reasoning skills.
No, and I love his back and forth with Colleen, who's played by Jessica Henwick. Like their relationship and over the course of this first half of the season has been really fun.
Yeah.
And like, cause again, he's that social awkward. He doesn't understand how to interact with people, like even to wear shoes and things like that. Right. And she's like trying, you can tell he's like, look, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here, but you're a weird guy.
Yeah.
And she's a strong character. I love her role in it. I feel like she's got a lot to her. She's got a lot of interesting depth, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting more of her. I don't care. I think that's the main thing, is that because it's so stretched out, I don't feel like the stakes are really there right now for me.
Right.
I don't know what's on the line for me in the story. I don't know like what's at risk here if Danny fails or he accomplishes what he wants to accomplish. Like they haven't they haven't realistically shown me why the hand is bad. Like they've said that they've done bad things.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen them really engaging in a lot of bad things. And in a lot of ways, actually, the things that they're doing seem warranted.
Well, Daredevil season 2 is where a lot of that comes into play.
Right, but I haven't seen Daredevil.
Right.
So it's a standalone. I've seen the first couple episodes, but I haven't really seen a lot. So yeah, I mean, if you're familiar with that,
yeah.
But I don't feel like they should rely on that.
Right.
I feel like it should be
a weight of like that character.
Yeah, and they can do more and you start to get a sense of why the hand is bad after about the 5th episode. I'm 6 episodes in, so I'm a little bit behind you.
Yeah.
But you start to get a progressively deeper and deeper reason for why the hand is bad, but it doesn't happen until much later. And so there's no stakes, there's no opposing force. The first couple episodes of the show is just about like, will he be able to convince them that he's actually Danny Rand?
Right.
And it's like, okay, I wanted their drama,
I really wanted there to be a Maximus moment where like he takes off his mask and Joaquin Phoenix is there.
That would be funny, yeah.
That would have been awesome because that moment in Gladiator was one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, Danny Rand.
Yes. Yep. And the one thing I will say though is he's probably going to be the most inconsistent like superhero.
Yeah.
In a sense, as like his abilities are very limited.
Yeah.
I mean, other than
he punches really hard.
Well, he has the Iron Fist,
right.
and that's like his strongest suit. He's a great like kung fu master.
Right.
But Daredevil's a great fighter, but that's always there, and he always has his senses, right?
Yep.
So he in Luke Cage is always strong, and you have Jessica Jones who is always strong.
Yeah.
And Iron Fist, when he can only use it like one time,
right?
And then he like loses it for a while. He's like, it drains my chi.
Yeah.
And
like,
then he can't use it again.
Yeah,
I know he can't use it, so he's got to like save it for like the boss battle. You know?
And I think the thing about Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil, like those shows went there.
Yeah.
But with him, it's like he kind of has to be like coerced into a fight.
Right.
A lot of the fights that he gets into, he kind of gets his butt kicked a lot until he finally like unlocks the inner rage that he has, and then he manages to win. But it's like, Well, why? It just doesn't make it doesn't really it's not compelling.
In like the first or second episode, he's like, the harder I get hit and the more I get hit, the better I focus.
Yeah.
Like, so you got to get beat up,
right?
And
Exactly.
then you can win,
which makes it really stupid because it's like, well, you just got to get yourself beat. Like, can't you get to a point eventually where you don't need to get your head beat in before you're willing to fight people? Like Luke Cage, like he'll just beat somebody up. Or, he has to kind of be pushed into it. But Daredevil as well. Like he goes after bad guys and he just beats them up.
Yeah.
I haven't watched enough of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones to talk too much about it, but I don't feel like they're shy about their powers. Whereas I feel like with Danny, it's more like I'm Danny, and then occasionally I'm going to use my powers.
Other than that, I love all the little nods to like the other series that they've been doing. Like the most recent one, they had a little Jessica Jones nod. They had a Daredevil nod. They had an Avengers nod. In the first, it was like in the first or second episode, I think. They always call it the incident. They never call it what it is, and they always talk about the Hulk, like they call him the green guy. You know?
Yeah. I do like that too. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
because I like the Marvel universe. We're saying a lot of bad things about it, but I will say, good cinematography. The acting is good. The overall idea of the show is not bad. I don't think like it's silly or stupid.
It's like the first mystical one, kind of more mystical than the others. I
think the fighting is good.
Yeah,
I think the fighting is effective. So it's good, not great.
Yeah. I would get so far. I mean, obviously we might change our tune completely in the next half of the season, but I would give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.6.
All right.
So,
I always rounded to the nearest 5, so that's me.
I wanted to be honest. I didn't want to lie, just so we could sync up so we could be twinsies again. Yeah.
Right.
Gotta be honest for the listeners.
Yeah, so we'll try and recap the rest of it on our next episode.
Yeah.
But next, let's move into our last one here, and then I just want to talk about The Flash.
Ooh.
The Flash. And this is our musical episode.
Yes.
I didn't care for this episode that much. And I initially watched this and texted you because I remember your favorite part of the last episode was Barry.
I was doing a little happy dance.
Breaking up with Iris.
I wish it had lasted a little longer.
I know, and I text you and go, hey, you're going to love this latest episode. And I was like, sarcasm or whatever I said.
Yeah, like sarcasm. It was a hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah. And you ended up liking this thing more than I did.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with that. I mean, the thing is like, we talk about it a lot. I don't hate Iris. I just don't like her with Barry because I just don't think that they have a lot in common. I felt like I thought Wonder Woman and him had so much better chemistry.
You mean like Supergirl?
Supergirl, sorry, not Wonder Woman. Sorry.
Like, what are you
Wrong universe entirely. Just like, sorry about that, folks. But I felt like him and Supergirl had so much better chemistry. Like they're playing off each other. They're joking with each other. They're smiling with each other.
Yeah.
For him and Iris, it's always just like, I love you so much. Yes, I love you too because I love you, and your love for me is great because I love you too. That is so great.
Because the future says we're together.
Yes, because we have to be together. Whereas with like him and Supergirl, there's chemistry. They're joking, they're dancing, they're singing, they're having fun together.
They're having a lot of fun together.
Right, I wouldn't see him and Iris going on like a dance. I wouldn't see them dancing with each other. You know what I mean? It made more sense with Iris being with that other guy.
Right.
I thought that her and the other guy in that episode fit. So I'm going way off topic a bit, but things I liked about the episode is I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. I thought the Music Meister was a little silly. I thought I was like, who is he? Where is he coming? He's just like randomly this guy that has these insanely powerful powers just comes out and like wreaks havoc on everybody. I mean, I thought that he was a little bit silly, but I felt like it was fun. I thought the music was okay and good. And it was funny to like see Cisco and he's like this, one day, I'm going to be the best singer there. Like, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I thought overall the characterization was funny. I thought it was cool to see the characters kind of break out of their standard everyday roles a little bit and get to embrace something different. I think my main problem with the episode wasn't the episode itself. It was more the context of the episode.
Sure.
I wish this episode had happened last season or maybe even next season.
First half at least.
Yeah,
or something,
when better things, and maybe they're doing it to add a little like levity back to the show. But I kind of like, it felt like a fun episode, but there's not fun things going on in the show right now.
No, it's all serious.
Right, they need to get these things kind of resolved, and it was like, I would rather you get these things resolved and move into like a happier show than to just randomly jump into some silly kind of musical thing.
Like not
like
be heavy.
episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not be heavy into the Savitar story arcs that are super like where the whole team is like distraught and bad things are happening.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like have this happy episode. Like it would have fit better, like you're right, in the first half when they're having their standard villain of the week.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
oh cool, we beat this. Well, next week we're having this musical
so fun.
one.
It was just a huge tonal pill to swallow.
Right.
Tonal shift.
Right. I did like seeing Malcolm Merlin. He's an Arrow, but I did like hearing a lot of this thing, and I think maybe this is because I just saw Beauty and the Beast, and Beauty and the Beast I could hear a lot of the pitch correction that you had mentioned, and I didn't hear a lot of that here. Because I do know that a lot of the people in this show are very musically gifted. Grant Gustin, very much so. And also Kara Danvers, Supergirl.
Yeah. She did a great job.
Yeah, she was great.
Barry did a great job dancing.
Yeah. You know what's funny? He did.
With the tap dancing?
Yeah.
I think that was really him. It looked really good.
It was. Yeah. I was even surprised with Cisco. He did a little number. I did not know he had a little jig in him.
Some little jigginess.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought I was just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge musical person. I did like some elements of it. I didn't like the quick resolution to last week's like I'm breaking up with you, Iris.
Yeah.
For that reason, I thought you were gonna dislike this episode more.
I do dislike it for that reason, but I mean, I didn't. And at the end they do the like they're finally really together like type feel. I enjoyed it. The thing is, if I look at this episode and take it outside of where I'm currently dissatisfied,
right,
and just put it in the overall run of The Flash, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I liked it for what it was.
Okay.
But at the same time, I just didn't. I didn't like where it was at within the pathway of the show.
I think maybe I'm just unhappy with the state of season 3 as it is. But anyways, if I had to rate this thing, I'd give it a 6.
6. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
Whoa.
Yeah. We're no longer twinsies.
We're way off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Well, that's it. That wraps up our episode of Tube Talk.
Cool.
Remember, if you haven't already heard, we've been talking about it all the time, but we have a contest going on where you could win a $50 gift card to AMC Theaters.
It ends this week, though.
Ends this week.
They have to sign up.
Get on it. We've already had a lot of people.
Very, very angry. No.
Right. We've had a lot of people enter it. Real recap on that is you got to find a picture of a TV show or a movie that you're most anticipating that's coming out this year. Find a picture of it, post it online on your social media, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and tag us. Tag at Real Review Media so we can find it. If you don't tag us, we're not going to see it, and we're not going to enter you into the contest. And then we'll choose a winner. The winner gets a $50 AMC gift card, which is pretty rad.
It's pretty boss.
But other than that, yeah, exactly. And other than that, find us, go to our website where we update it pretty frequently, realreviewmedia.com, facebook.com/realreview, Real Review Media, and then Instagram and Twitter at Real Review Media as well. And follow us, check that stuff out because we keep it pretty updated. And other than that, anything else to add, Joel?
Nah, I think that's it.
That's it. It's been real.
It's been real.